Welcome back to the show. We are underway with the second round of the women's event. It's going to be a big one. We're overlapping heats. We're giving the competitors 46 minutes in the lineup. Of course, with that dual heat format, in the first half of your heat, you don't have ultimate priority. Still priority exists between the competitors out there, including Sawyer, who was right on that cut line a couple of times coming into this contest. But here is Lindblad now, getting things started for us in the second heat of this round. As we see Sawyer now looking to back up her opening ride. Well, that's the slickest turn we've seen so far this morning. And Sawyer finding the opportunities out here, going to that rail again. And that is going to be a decent number, 3.83 for a first ride. And that's the thing, you know, you're finding a wave that's not an actual set, and she is surfing that up. That's going to be a decent score and put her in a strong position here.
Yeah, you think about, obviously, Gabriella and Yolanda, they're not in the same heat as Betty and Sawyer, but, you know, you can draw comparisons with all the waves that have been surfed and, you know, where that...
Cops goes the armour mill. I'm all the soy as we see now. Bettylou getting things started. She's trying to stay on pace here because Sawyer dropped a 5.33. And while that's not a score that's going to set the world on fire for Sawyer, I just wonder if Gabriella's feeling the freedom that she's had on her magic boards.
I think she's going to be dropping big scores.
Oh,
that was hard.
Yeah, a lot of bump on the face. You could tell that Sawyer really wanted to lay that rail over and launch into a big backhand blast. A different board out of the rack to attack those bigger days.
Totally, I think though, you know, Gabriella Bryan has the power to do it though, you know, like, as we see Sawyer.
Yeah, Sawyer, she fell on her last wave. She wants to clean that up here, but it's an ugly section. She gets out of there.
Yeah, I think there is like such an argument when you come to the West to...
Things are looking pretty good for the Hawaiian Gabriella Bryan here. And Bettylou with a nice opening turn on this ride, trying to fight her way back.
Let's have a look here, what happened during the break. Bettylou, no, oh yeah, this is the replay of her last wave. And
in that second heat of the morning, well, heat number one is a wrap as we see Sawyer now on the attack there in the face of her rival. And she's going to duck out and likely be able to paddle.
It just unfortunately shut down, didn't give her that moment. And then behind her, I love this one single moment from Sawyer. It was pretty critical. Just one section though, because...
On the outside now, we've got a bit of movement at the takeoff zone and lining this one up. But giving way to Sawyer Lindblad was Bettylou, and Sawyer just fading back, wanting to set up a couple of more critical hits. This wave flattening out a lot on Sawyer though. She'll stick with it now and ride the ski back out, but it's a decent finishing turn here. Trying to improve on a 4.27.
You kind of just want to roll the dice, and I understand why she used her priority here to, you know, take Bettylou off that wave. Yeah, this wave does force her out onto the face a little bit. Probably, you know, that more horizontal surfing, but she does get one good moment here on the inside. It does stand up. She's able to go vertical, and yeah, I mean, she gets the completion. Let's have a look here. This is, you know, the most critical moment on the wave. Tags it there, rides out. Yeah, I think her performances have been, you know, super inspiring here over the years as we see Sawyer.
Yeah, Sawyer with a nice looking section here. And does well, holds that rail through the lump and bump, but doesn't see a whole lot happening down the line. Yeah, a couple of good shout outs there. Mel Redmond-Carr won the event 4 times. She actually went back to back at this venue when it was a qualifying series event.
Shot to really getting dialed as a surfer.
This was a 3.17 for Sawyer. She had an amazing amount of speed as she came gunning off the bottom. So Bettylou, she'll reset. Had a great year last season, a couple of big championship tour wins, and she'll be returning to the Gold Coast where she was victorious last year. But it is Sawyer Lindblad for the third time here in the West getting the jump on Bettylou.
Yeah, thanks Joe. Sawyer, a heat win at any time is great, but especially in conditions like that when you're copping a lot of sets on the head, you love to get a heat win like that.
Yeah, that was a really close one. It was really challenging out there. I got so many sets on the head. Before watching it, it looked small this morning, so I was like, oh, I'll just ride like a 1-inch step up, and then I got out there and there were so many sets. It's like, maybe it should have been on a little bigger board, but got it done.
So coming up into your quarterfinals, you're going to match up against Gabby. You had her in the quarters last year, but you also had her in the final here in 2024. I feel like although you guys are really good mates, there's this fun rivalry brewing between you two, especially here at Margs.
Yeah, I've surfed against her every year that I've been here, so that'll be really fun. I'm good friends with Gabby, so yeah, hopefully we get good waves.
Gabby's got the jump on you a couple of times now. What's going to change this year for you to get one back on Gabby?
Probably just surfing a smart heat and yeah, just trying to surf my best. She's a good surfer, so you got to level up against her.
Now I'm curious, you mentioned you're only on a 1-inch step up. If you had your time all over again, would you have gone on something a little bit bigger?
I don't know, it was hard. We were watching the waves this morning and a lot of the medium ones looked better, so I was like, oh, I'll ride my smaller board, but then I got one like good set out there and I just caught a rail like on the bottom turn, so I was like, maybe a bigger board would have been good for that wave, but my lefts that I caught, I needed this board, so I don't know. It was like, could have gone bigger, could have just stayed, so yeah.
We love it, Sawyer. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys.